Pedro Neto, here we go to Chelsea Football Club. Where did that come from? Nowhere. It literally happened out of the blue. Victor Osimhen to Chelsea? Well, Fabrizio's not backing down. This morning there was an article that was released. Chelsea want one winger and a striker, and the striker is Victor Osimhen. Now Fabrizio's coming out. We're going to talk about it. Can this actually happen? And finally, Chelsea spent £20 million, 20 million euros actually, let me correct myself, on Panders, the 18-year-old Courtois regen basically from Belgium. However, we've got 8 goalkeepers on the list, and everybody before today's news was saying, oh my god, Chelsea don't know what they're doing, Chelsea are horrible, Chelsea's owners are the worst owners in the world, how can you have 8 goalkeepers on the list? I'm going to explain to you what's going on, the context behind having 8 goalkeepers on the list, because evidently some of you don't know what's going on, and I need to explain it in detail. Explanations are important. And then you can go away and educate other people and understand that Chelsea are going to fix this issue. And more importantly, fees now are more heavy than they ever used to be. Hence, we are spending crazy amounts of money on youth players, but we've been doing this for ages. I'll break it down. But first, let's talk about Pedro Neto. Let's get gassed, because the reality is, if he was joining Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Man United, everybody would have been saying, why aren't we going in for him? Why aren't we signing him? Because I'm hearing about Dominic Solanke now. So Lord knows you would be doing about Pedro Neto. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get on with it. Brilliant news. Alright, let's get this started from the beginning, because the reality is Chelsea Football Club have went and got themselves a 24-year-old Portuguese international called Pedro Neto, who can play left wing, right wing, number 10, and can play number 9 if needed. This guy is left-footed but can strike a ball with his right foot, take a man on, put a cross in, creativity on point, the ability to be a man can be done. I think this is one of my favourite players in the league, and I was saying this when he was played at Wolves. So the fact that we've acquired his services is brilliant. So how did this happen? Number one, Fabrice Hawkins, my guy from L'Equipe and RMC Sport, has come out first and was like, Chelsea are about to sign Pedro Neto. I was like, wait, what? I was like, Ornstein, Bomba, I need it. Bomba came out from Ornstein, and next thing you know, Fabrizio hits us with the here we go. This deal is happening. It's a 60 million euro deal with 3 million in paid to George Mendes, and I don't care. The reality is, look guys, a lot of you say you're a hater, you're too picky, or you work for Blue Code. That's the new one, by the way. Everyone's like, oh, you work for Blue Code, they're giving you the brown envelope. Broski, trust me, if they were giving me the brown envelopes, I'd be doing this full time. I don't do this and get paid off Blue Code. Trust me, it's not happening. These are just my views, and evidently I like what the club's doing at the moment. So once the results fix on the pitch, trust me, all of you will be with me. You will be agreeing. But, and this is the reality, right? And this is the honest reality. I've got Noni Madueke at right wing. I've got Mikhailo Mudryk, and I've got Sterling on the left. Do you think I'm in a position to be saying no to Pedro Neto? Like, genuinely. Mudryk, super inconsistent. Sterling, super inconsistent. Noni, super inconsistent. Do you think I'm in a position to be saying no to a guy that was chased by Arsenal, Man City, and Man United, and we know Liverpool were interested in? No, not a chance. So the fact that we can get our hands on a talent of that magnitude, I'm going to say thank you very much. Muito obrigado. Muchas gracias. Спасибо большое. Tashakul. Every language I know, I'm saying thank you. And the reality is, we have got ourselves a very good player. I am very excited because this opens up avenues. When we lost Michael Elise to Bayern Munich, what did I say? This is bad news. And a lot of you said, Alex, why are you reacting like this? We got Noni Madueke. And I explained, we've got Cole Palmer. Great creativity. We need one more. Nkunku, it doesn't create. Sterling, Mudryk, they don't create. Noni doesn't create consistently enough. We've got guys, someone that can create now to help take the load off Palmer. And all of a sudden, just listen to this. Jackson in the 9, because you lot know I rate Jackson. You got on that left-hand side Pedro Neto, yeah, if needed. And then you got Nkunku in the 10, and you got Cole Palmer on the right. Or you can just rotate that around, lovely inverted left, whatever you want, man. Just fluid football, champagne football, and we've got the manager who trusts attacking players. So this is phenomenal. I am very happy. I think you can tell. The story about Victor Osimhen to Chelsea is not going away. I was listening to the London is Blue podcast, I think it's called, the other day, and Matt Law was on it, and he spoke about Victor Osimhen, he spoke about the Romelu Lukaku implications, and then there were articles this morning that came out saying Chelsea are still eagerly trying to add one more striker and a winger. At the time, I was like, who the hell is this winger? It's Pedro Neto. Here we go. Pedro Neto to Chelsea. Here we go. Phenomenal. I'm just going to keep saying it because I'm that happy, right? But, and this is where it gets interesting. Chelsea want a number 9. They don't care that they've got Samuel Morodian. And for me, this is where the confusion comes in. Wouldn't it have been smart for Chelsea to get Samu and straight away sort him out a lot? Like, because if you're getting Victor Osimhen and you've got Nicholas Jackson and you paid that money for Samuel Morodian, why would Samuel come and just sit on the bench? Because Nico's better than Samuel. I'm telling you that now. We've seen it last year. Like, he got 15 league goals in the Premier League and he was a very good player for us. If you're going to get Victor Osimhen, it means he's starting. However, Fabrizio's come out and basically said this, right? You don't know, I don't want Victor Osimhen. However, if we get him, I'm not going to complain. I genuinely will not complain. I'll just back him like I back every player until they give me another reason for me to call him out. And in this case, Fabrizio's saying it's simple. Chelsea will only go back in if the conditions are different. At this moment in time, Victor Osimhen is not taking a pay cut. Victor Osimhen does not want to play for Napoli. He's telling individuals he doesn't want to play for Napoli. That's a source coming out from Matt Law. He said that on London is Blue podcast before any of you attack me. But this is where it gets very interesting, right? What does Victor do? Because a lot of you are going to say, Alex, why would Victor come to Chelsea? Well, Victor's been priced out of him. He doesn't want to play for Napoli. He doesn't want to play for Antonio Conte. I don't know why. Honestly, the smartest thing for him to do is stay there another year. But they're going to come back in for Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku only wants to go there. Saudi clubs apparently aren't interested in him. And this has become into a situation that could play into Chelsea's hands wonderfully. Because the closer we get to the end, right? The closer we get to the end, the more Lukaku's going to be desperate to go. So the more Antonio is going to throw his toys out the pram, Napoli gets me Romelu. So we either get 35 million or 37 million pounds for Romelu Lukaku, or they tell Victor Osimhen, listen, you're going to Chelsea and you're taking a pay cut, or we'll subsidize some of your wages for an obligation. So Chelsea might get Victor Osimhen on a nice discount. That happens, you ain't going to hear me complain. Genuinely, it means we played the situation right. It means we are absolutely well organized, and what we did was a calculated risk and it worked. However, I don't want to see us pay 80 million, 90 million. I just don't think he's worth the money. I really don't. And it is what it is. It's going to be interesting. Honestly, if we get one more player this window, close the window. I don't want to see anyone else come through. No one else to the first team. The final piece of news is very interesting, right? Because, look, a lot of people, prior to Pedro Neto being announced, were very, very critical of Blueco and are going to be critical of Blueco. And the reason they're so critical is because 2 days ago, Arsene Mino was signed, right? That's the Argentinian 18-year-old centre-half that's only played 3 games. We paid $20 million for him. That's around about 16 million pounds, right? Yesterday, it was announced by Fabrizio Romano, here we go, Chelsea signed Panders from Genk, 18-year-old, 6'7", I think, goalkeeper. Does it remind you of anyone? Thibaut Courtois, right? And Chelsea signed him. They spent, I think it's 20 million euros on him, and the deal was done. And he's going to spend the rest of the year at Genk. He's going to be playing regularly. This is great news. However, fans are angry. And the reason fans are angry, because the logic, and me and Matisse have had this debate, right? We've had this debate on a timeline, and I actually really like having these debates because it's important to see what other people think, and what is also important, when you don't agree with someone, to see their logic. So Matisse's logic was they could be spending that money on players that will improve the first team, where instead of going so rapidly and buying so many players. I kind of agree with it. However, and this is a big however, they're not going to do that. They're not. They just don't view doing business in that way. What they're going to do is they're going to buy a bunch of players that are worth 20 million euro and or in that range between 10 and 20. And then some of them are going to hit, some of them are going to flop. Overall, they're going to balance the books. Some of them are going to go for a profit. Some of them are going to be trading chips. And that's just their way of doing business. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't run my club that way. However, I understand what they're doing. I really do. And Penders is one of those, right? If he slaps and bangs the way Thibaut Courtois did, no one's going to complain. When Thibaut joined us for 8 million, right, pounds, back then, that's around about 12 million euros. This was, what, 10 years ago? Inflation will do its course, right? And not only monetary inflation, more importantly, football inflation. A player back then that was highly rated at that age cost 8-9 million. Nowadays, he's costing 30. He's costing 20. Like, I even went back and looked through this. Lucas Piazon joined us, 7 million euros. Nathan joined us, 7 million pounds. Oscar Dos Santos joined us, 25 million euros. Like, these players nowadays, Oscar was Estavio Williams' price these days. Do you know what I mean? David Washington is Nathan and Lucas Piazon's price. Yes, they didn't work out. For every Nathan Ake, for every Christensen, for every Courtois, for every Eden Hazard, there were players that flopped. And the difference was we didn't have Fabrizio and Ornstein and Matt Law consistently telling us about it. And guess what? I'm not having to go at them. It's their jobs. Same way as it's my job to sit here and tell you about. You want to know. I want to know because I'm a Chelsea fan. I want to know more about the club than ever before. We just have such crazy level of intrigue at the moment that we want to know everything to do with a club. We want to know about the women's team. We want to know the men's team. We want to know about the youth team. We want to know who's on the board, for crying out loud. The reality is the demand for football is so large now that we're hypercritical about everything. So everything matters. When in reality back then, when Roman was doing it, no one cared. And it was because it wasn't publicized. We only cared about the first team. I remember back then, I used to care about Islam Farouz making it at Chelsea. Jeffrey Brumer, Gael Kakuta, like players like that, yeah, that never had a hope. They never had a hope of making it here. But yet they were bought for prices. We backed them. I remember we paid 2.7 million for Izzy Brown as compensation. No one cared. No one cared, literally. But yet now people care a lot. And you know what? It's the way the football's going. It just shows that the team's growing in reputation. It is what it is. They're going to keep doing it. You can be upset, but I'm going to be happy because we got ourselves Pedro Neto. Hopefully there's some more outgoings, and there will be. Guys, no video tomorrow because I'm going on a sunny holiday tomorrow to Cyprus. So anyone from Cyprus that's watching me, shout me. Have a lovely day. Everyone else, I'm going to be having a great time. So videos are going to be a little bit more inconsistent. So you're going to have to hit that bell notification. And more importantly, I'm still going to be making videos on holiday. You know the grind never stops, right? So it is what it is. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.